The winding flow of the Weeki's crystal clear waters, from its headspring all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. It's a paddler's dream, maybe even a little too much, as advocates push to protect this once pristine river before it's too late. Gene Kelly glides through the water, his kayak floating just above lush beds of seagrass. He knows a thing or two about the river, moved to the area in the 8th grade, and 50 years later now considers himself a true Floridian. And as a member of the Florida Native Plant Society, he's got his eye on the greenery.
This is the way it should look, with all this submerged aquatic vegetation.
It's like that all the way down the stretch of river that flows through the state park. Here, visitors must stay in their kayaks, no getting out to swim or pulling up on shore. But once out of the park, it seems to be game on for boaters. We saw it firsthand within minutes of starting this leg of the trip. That, and the difference in the river's vegetation, both in and out of the water. It's an issue the county has been trying to tackle for years now, recreational overuse, as outlined here in this carrying capacity study from 2020. It was funded by both the county and the Southwest Florida Water Management District, and details how visitors, often hundreds a day, have trampled vegetation and displaced sediment, so much so that the river is now more shallow in certain spots and sandbars have grown wider. Right now, a massive dredging project is underway to address that damage, as shown here in video from Water Management. Shoreline is the company contracted to do the work, which begins near Rogers Park. That's where we caught up with County Commission Chair John Alaco, who says the dredging project is key to restoring the river, but also says one more thing has to happen for it to work: the creation of a spring protection zone.
You don't want to spend money to dredge it only to have people trample the sides of the river again and put the sediment back in the river, have it get washed down and create the same problem over and over again.
John says the plan the county presented to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, which would have to designate the zone and enforce the rules, is the answer. No anchoring, mooring, or beaching vessels inside of this area marked in red. Initially, though, FWC pushed back, countering with a plan of its own: protection for just 20 individual points instead of one continuous stretch. A move that prompted county officials and advocates like Gene Kelly to show up at FWC's hearing last month in protest.
Please establish a spring protection zone that will work.
Now, in a turn of events, the agency has reconsidered. Bay News 9 is the first to learn FWC will present a final rule at its next hearing that, if finalized, would give the county exactly what it asked for, and then some: a continuous zone all the way to the spring boil within the state park. It's a big win for the county, and, says John, just in time.
We can always change down the road if we find that it's not working properly. But if the river is destroyed to the point where it's not going to be able to be restored, we've lost it forever.
And what would this area be without its pride and joy? The beautiful water so inviting, you can't blame a single visitor for putting it on their to-do list. But, says Kelly, the spring protection zone is needed to prevent further damage.
If we don't exercise some control over how people enjoy their time on the river, then it won't be the same beautiful resource for our children and grandchildren.
The winding Wachee, a freshwater spring we must learn to share. Kate McVeigh, Spectrum News.